good evening, Papua New Guinea, and welcome to another episode of Rendezvous with Leanne. Now, tonight on the show, I have a very special, talented guest. She's none other than our very first Papua New Guinean actress, Ms Wendy Mocke. Welcome to the show, Wendy. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel really overwhelmed with all those nice things that you just said. So.
I mean, it's true, isn't it? Aren't you the first Papua New Guinean, first trained actress?
Yes. So I'm the first Papua New Guinean that's come through NIDA, which is an absolute privilege. So I feel very honoured and blessed to represent PNG on that front. So.
Exactly. I mean, NIDA is a school that, you know, greats like Nicole Kidman, Kate Blanchett have gone through.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett, Mel Gibson, Sam Worthington. So there's a few NIDA alumni that's made it really, really big over in the States, even in the world. So.
I mean, that's amazing, and we're so proud of you, and we know that you'll do great. Tell us a little bit about that. Why acting?
So when I was little, I grew up in Papua New Guinea, so coming from a big family of 8 kids. Oh, wow. And I was the middle child, so all my siblings were really good at sports. You know, all my brothers were really good at rugby league, and my sisters were on softball. And they were all really good at these things, and I was the middle child, so I was like, I needed some sort of outlet.
Sort of like a black sheep. With
pretty much. And so I had to find something that I could sort of be good at or express myself. So I've always sort of like been one of the weird children that sort of like, let's put on a play while everyone wanted to play like touch or something.
Aren't those kids special though? I mean,
yeah. I think now that I realize, like, okay, but back then, you know, when you're living in Madang back like in the early 90s, you're just kind of like, oh, she's a bit strange. But yeah, I think I fell in love with acting at an early age, just to a form of expression, to express myself. Because I was caught in the middle of all these like really loud sort of personalities, outgoing siblings. So that was my little outlet.
That's amazing. I mean, you mentioned Madang. Is that where you're from in
PNG? So my father's from Madang and my mother's from Chimbu. Okay. But I was born in Port Moresby, and then we moved to Madang when I was about 3 years old, I think. And we've lived there since, and my parents and all my family is still there now. So. Okay,
so you're based right now in Sydney because of school. But you're also, your family's in Cairns. But you also have family in Madang or in PNG. So how is that? How does that work?
All right. So the breakdown is this: my mom and dad and my siblings are all live in Madang. Okay. I have a daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, and she lives in Cairns. I couldn't relocate her this year because she just started school, so I didn't want to disrupt that. So she's based in Cairns at the moment, and I'm down in Sydney doing NIDA for the holidays. I return back to Cairns for the holidays to see my little one, but Cairns and Madang are home for me. So
so what brought you to Cairns?
Well, I went to school there. So so I went to school in Madang from grade 1 to grade 7, and then from after grade 7, I flew. My parents sent me to a boarding school in Cairns, which I was there from grade 8 to 12, and then I stayed on after high school. So I've been living in Cairns since then. But I only moved to Sydney this year just for NIDA. But otherwise, I'd still be in Cairns. So Cairns is like home for me.
All right. So I mean, acting, you know, it's different from growing up, putting on plays and all that, to actually getting into the industry and getting into the whole, why did you choose acting, or how did you get into acting?
When I was even in primary school, when I was going to Madang International, we used to put on performances at the end of every year for our parents. So I absolutely loved doing that. I was like, this is definitely something that I'm going to do. And then when I found out that I was coming to Cairns, I actually found out about NIDA then when I was 12. I'd heard about NIDA, and then, but for me it was like being a young Papua New Guinean girl and hearing about this place that, like, Mel Gibson and all them came from. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough, if I'll ever be able to like actually get in there. So I sort of like put that on the backbench, and sort of like, as growing up from a Papua New Guinea family, living in Australia, sort of I taught at an early age like the arts, go to law school or go and do like a business degree. So I never really got into that fully. I did plays and I did a few commercials here and there whilst in school, and then after high school, and then I took a bit of a break, and then it wasn't until in my late 20s I realized that I need to be pursuing my dreams, because I felt like I hadn't achieved what I really needed to achieve. And then one night I decided, heck, I'll just apply for NIDA.
Wow.
And then I submitted it online, and then a few weeks later NIDA traveled to Cairns and they had the auditions, and thankfully I was blessed enough to get through.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have different rounds, and then
Yeah.
it's very nerve-wracking, very
Okay.
nerve-wracking. Yeah.
So you had to go through an audition process,
Oh, yeah.
that whole, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
sorry, excuse me.
Right.
They have the first round of auditions, and then they have the second round of auditions, and then you get told, and then you get shortlisted,
Okay.
because they only accept 24 people a year.
Wow.
24 people, yeah. So you get people from the States flying in, from Europe.
Really?
It's intense. It's so intense. So.
All to NIDA.
Yeah.
That's how elite it is, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the first round you get in, they get you to present a few monologues, and then you're only a certain amount. So then you go, okay, it's the top 50 in Cairns, and then it's the top 50 in Queensland, and then it's the top 50 of like this certain part of Australia, and they literally it takes about 2 weeks for them to minimize the list.
Wow.
And then you just wait for the call.
And you were just lucky, blessed enough to be part of that.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
people audition. One guy in my group, he auditioned 7 times before NIDA said yes to him.
7 times meaning 7 years in a row? Wow.
Yeah, 7 years. 7 years in a row, he kept going in and auditioning.
Okay.
And I was very, very blessed to have just to get in on the first go.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how is NIDA like? I mean, tell us a little bit about your classes.
Oh, God. It's intense.
Yeah.
NIDA is so intense. Everything that you hear about NIDA, it's all true.
Yeah.
It's so, you know, the hours are long. They expect nothing but excellence. And they push you. They push you and they break you down, and then they build you back up again.
Wow.
It's intense, but it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about, you know, have you done anything? What's your portfolio like?
I've done, in high school, I did a few plays. So we traveled with a theatre group. So we travel around far north Queensland.
Yeah.
After high school, I did a few commercials, a couple in Cairns, a few, there was a Tingam Life, which is an AIDS awareness campaign that I did that aired over in New Guinea. I did a few plays in Cairns as well.
Okay.
So there's a few, predominantly in Cairns. So a lot of my work has been in Cairns. And then I took a few years off there after I had my baby girl.
Okay.
So I didn't do acting for about 4 or 5 years there. And then I came back last year and I performed in 2 plays that was in Cairns.
Yes.
One was a Much Ado About Nothing, which is a Shakespeare play.
Oh yes, yep.
And a George Orwell play as well, which was 1984. So they were the 2 plays that I came back after about a 4 to 5 year break. I did those 2 plays last year, and then NIDA came calling. So,
wow. So what would you consider yourself in a major in theater and television? Anything?
I think right now with the training that I'm undergoing at NIDA, I think I fall in love with screen.
Oh, okay.
Previously, I used to love theatre because I love being on stage and the adrenaline that you get it being live and then you can't mess it up because the audience is right there. But then there's something delicate about screen that you don't have to push when you're in theatre. There's something really that you can internalize a lot of things, and there's something really delicate about screen that I love.
Wow.
So I think I'm sort of like just a little bit favoring screen at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I mean, going to a school like NIDA, you know, with as you mentioned, Kate Blanchett, Nicole Kidman, Sam Worthington, graduating from there. Have you met any of them, or you know?
No, I haven't yet. We've heard of them in the hallways. The staff talk about them. I think Kate was there a couple of months before we started commenced the year.
Wow, okay.
So then she comes and goes. She's a frequent apparently, but we haven't actually run into her. But there's been other like smaller sort of Australian celebrities that come in through. So we see them, and there's like the New South Wales Waratahs were there a couple of months ago, and accidentally physically ran into one of them. But yeah, there's quite a few people that come in and out of the doors at night, and so every now and then you get a surprise. You walk into the foyer and there's someone else new, like the cast of McLeod's Daughters or Packed to the Rafters, which is Australian shows. But McLeod's Daughters is over in New Guinea as well.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned you physically ran into a Waratahs player. What was that like? Like bumped into them?
Yeah, I was walking around the corner and I was on my phone, as you do, and I literally just like smack bang into Israel Folau.
As you do.
And I was like, this is me. I was like, oh, it's Israel Folau, excuse me. Got on my phone.
What?
Oh my God, the Waratahs are in NIDA. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that you're in Sydney, your daughter's in Cairns. How is that like? I mean, I know the distance must be difficult. So.
It's definitely one of the hardest things I've had to do. Yeah. I'm trying to work on bringing her down to Sydney. It's just with her school and children with their routines, they really need like a stable routine, and I'd hate to disrupt that for her. But it's definitely very hard. I'll be honest. Once a week, I have little breakdowns because as a mom, it's hard to be away from your child, and she's 5 and she's only very little, but you know, I'm doing it for the greater good, and so that she can see that she can follow her dreams when she gets older, and
that's amazing.
Not to let anything hold her back.
She must be really proud to have a mother like you. Like, what does she think of you going into acting, pursuing your dreams, basically?
Oh, you know, children.
She's too young to understand.
She's too young, and children like to keep it real with you. You know, I tell her, "Do you want to be an actor?" And she tells me, "No, Mum, I want to be a doctor." So I was like, "If that's what you want to do, darling, you go ahead and do it."
Okay.
But no, she likes to keep me firmly planted on the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
reminds me all the time.
Awesome. So basically, there's been a lot of great movies, great TV shows coming out of Papua New Guinea. For example, a couple of years ago, there was the movie Mr. Peep.
Yes.
What do you think about the Papua New Guinea television, movie industry, creative arts, basically?
I think as Papua New Guineans, our culture is so rich in storytelling, and I think the more and more that we put into the arts, the more we will get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot to do with society where we don't put arts as any relevance or importance. But I think that with our rich culture, we need to sort of like look into it, because, you know, our people were expressing themselves from, you know, from the beginning, you know. So I think this form of self-expression is very important, and I think it's really important that we maintain that. And I think I would love to see more of that coming out of Papua New Guinea, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'd love to like go down the track of actually being a part of that, and being able to produce work that's going to come out of Papua New Guinea, because I feel that we have a lot of stories to tell about our culture, about stuff that's going on. You know, I think we have a lot of stories to tell, and we're really good storytellers.
Wow,
we're very expressive people, so I think the more and more that we push for the arts, I think the better it'll be for us. Yeah.
I mean, arts is a sector, or basically an industry in Papua New Guinea that is non-existent, basically. What do you think, you know, with you, an aspiring actress who's made it to this far, you know, in Australia, what do you think, how do you think you can change that, you know, from blossoming to make it more of a matured, you know, industry? I
think for me, initially when I did acting, when I first got into acting at an early age, and initially when I got into NIDA, I always felt like, you know, I'm doing this for myself. I want to be an actress. I want to be performing in, you know, on Broadway, and on the big screen. The more and more that I started doing it, I realized that it was very selfish of me to think that way. I think, you know, eventually down the track, I would love to create a platform so that other Papua New Guineans can come through and have that as a platform to produce more work. So I'd love to like go down the track of creating work so that other Papua New Guinean performers, that can give them something to be in and to be a part of. So I think as giving this wonderful opportunity at being at NIDA and going through NIDA, I think it's sort of my duty to sort of almost pave the way so that other performers can come through, and that we can all do this together. You know, I think, you know, it's not one person to tell a story. You know, we are so many people with so many different stories, and that, you know, for me, I feel like it's my duty. It's my duty as a Papua New Guinean to open it, and so that other performers like myself can come on through and be a part of it.
Tell us what the future holds for Wendy Mocke.
Oh gosh, the future. Right now, I'm just looking forward to completing my training. To completing my training. I think NIDA is so intense, and I'd love to create work.
Okay. All right.
I'd love to perform in it, but I think ultimately my end goal is to create work for Papua New Guineans on an international level.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm in the talks of hopefully writing a play about that's not, well, I can't talk too much about it, but that's in the pipeline at the moment, is to create a Papua New Guinean piece of work.
Okay.
So will hopefully be in Queensland.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think looking to the future, I think basically creating more work or creating a Papua, so that Papua New Guinea, we can tell our story on an international front.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds very ambitious, and all the best with that. Back to your personal life. I know that you said that your schedule is quite hectic, and then between classes and coming back to see your daughter.
Yeah.
What do you do on your free time, if you have free time?
Oh goodness. I honestly, if you want to know the honest truth, I sleep. I sleep, and also I watch, to unwind, I watch really, really bad reality TV shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think it's just when your mind's sort of thinking all day, you just want something that you don't really
relax
think.
you, yeah.
So yeah, I think sleeping and watching reality television.
Okay.
Yeah, and reading, yeah. But
Okay.
other than that, I don't. Whenever I have a free opportunity, I try to go and watch some shows in Sydney, some theatre.
Yep, yep.
But other than that, yeah, NIDA is consuming most of my social life at the moment. So
true.
Yeah, but it's fine. But yeah,
yeah,
sleep is good. Sleep is very good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So listen, Hollywood is major. There's also Bollywood, Nollywood. Where do you find yourself, heading? Besides Australia, besides the Pacific region, do you see yourself going towards those places, just like your alumni?
Yeah. I think what's sad about, I think hopefully it'll change in the near future, is that with Australian television, there's not many people of colour.
Oh, true.
There's a lot of, there's not a lot of like ethnic people that are being shown on television. I think realistically for me, I think that I would have to look overseas.
Yeah.
So I know the States would probably be like a big thing for me, where I sort of look towards that horizon. I'd love to do something in Australia first, and then look potentially overseas.
Okay. Do you think that's an impediment for you, being a person of color, a woman of color?
I think that's changing. I think more and more now there's a big push for people of different ethnic backgrounds to be, because Australia is such a diverse country.
Yeah.
I don't think we see enough of that on our television screens here.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully it's slowly sort of like more and more they're sort of getting, there's more people being pushed to the front of different backgrounds. So I'm hoping by the time that I finish up at NIDA, there'll be more of an influx of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd love to do some work in Australia, between Australia and Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And then hopefully have my eyes set for overseas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of young people watching the show, and they see you, they see such an inspiration in you, and look up to you as a role model. For those kids out there who want to get into acting, want to get into the creative industries, what words of wisdom can you give to them?
I would say, first of all, it's an absolute honor to be anyone's role model. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think I would tell them to not give up on it.
Yep.
Don't give up on it. These things have a funny way of coming around. I think if you really truly have a desire and a passion for it, follow it.
Okay.
Follow it and chase it. Be hungry. Be prepared to work for it, and don't let anyone tell you no. NIDA normally accepts people that are in their late 20s. I'm in my early 30s. I've just turned 30.
Okay.
And I thought there's no way I'm going to get into NIDA being a person of my background and my age. People are going to think like, oh, she's a bit past that age. She can't never do it. But I'm in, and I think like you should just go for it. And if you're hungry for it and you're willing to work for it, go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Wendy. There you have it, young kids out there who are looking up to her as an inspiration. After the break, we have the rapid fire round. Stay with us. So Wendy, this round is called the rapid fire round. So basically I'll be asking you random questions and you answer with the first thing that comes into your mind, basically. Okay. So have fun. Yep. Okay. A style mantra you swear by?
LBD, little black dress.
Okay.
Always wins.
Okay. My greatest inspiration is?
My parents.
Oh, that's lovely. An idea that changed your life?
Acting.
Okay. Okay. A famous Papua New Guinean you have a crush on?
Oh gosh, this might come out really wrong, but Dame Carol Kiddu. It's not a crush. She's just amazing to me.
Yep.
Sounds really bizarre, but yeah.
Okay. Two people you would like to like competing for you, whether in the Pacific, overseas.
Competing for me,
Yeah.
as in
competing for your affections.
Oh, hello. So that could be like anyone?
Anyone.
Okay, I would say Joaquin Phoenix. And
Joaquin, really? Isn't he crazy?
oh, crazy's good too.
Oh my God.
And Michael Fassbender.
Ah, you like the dramatic guys, don't
do.
you? The emo
Yeah.
guys. Okay. What products would you endorse?
What products? Anything that has coconuts.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that you have that your contemporaries don't. So in this question, you can brag as much as you want.
One thing that okay.
That you have that your contemporaries don't. So.
Culture.
Okay. A person who needs a stylist, a Papua New Guinean who needs a stylist.
Oh, no. We're all stylish people. We don't need... Okay, myself.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just going to put myself out
Okay,
there.
and final question, an unforgettable pickup line used on you or that you've used on others?
Oh, okay.
Have
If you were a booger, I'd pick you first.
What?
Yeah. That was unforgettable, right?
Did you use that on someone? Or did someone
No,
use
it
it?
got used. And
Really?
yeah.
Someone had the nerve to
Yeah.
say, okay.
Yeah.
Well, did you give that person a time?
You know, I just... It's best that we leave that one
Okay.
to... Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Leave that to the imagination.
Yeah.
All right. No worries. Thank you so much, Wendy, for your
you.
time. Thank you for coming in and giving us telling us your story, basically.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and yeah, it's a privilege.
No
It
worries.
is.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
with your future. Good luck with acting and everything you do.
Thank you.
And that was the very, very talented Ms Wendy Mocke. Thank you, Papua New Guinea, for watching another episode of Rendezvous with Leanne. See you next time.